I will call the meeting to order at 7 p.m. And we'll note for the record that I'll chair the meeting in the excused absence of Chairman Stachin. So we will start with, or you need to um,
Roll
do the
call.
roll call, please, Bruce.
Ned Stachin, Robert Eisner,
Here.
David Fox,
Here.
Andre Simons,
Present.
Mark Simpson,
Here.
and Elena Carveth.
Here.
All right, thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to item number one under new business, David Tice, 12 Whispering Rod Road.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for having me again today. I did have well, we were talking about having some trees removed on my property, being that some of them may have been structurally compromised, as well as being too close to the structure. I did have an arborist come out to the property. Um, Bruce, did I send you the quote from the arborist?
I have that too. That's here's right here.
Okay, so I had them include the front yard left side tree. Originally, I was planning on keeping it. He mentioned there's a mold growing on the tree. It's difficult to treat. It was kind of going to be up to me and obviously up to you guys if it would be okay. I do kind of like the curb appeal of the tree, of said tree. It's that one right there. Yeah,
The one, that's one.
that one right there. Exactly. Yes.
Oh, in the
I
front of the
do.
house.
Yeah, and I didn't have that on my initial scoping. I mean, obviously with the mold, I mean, I'd prefer not to have it, but I do like the curb appeal of the tree. So I'm kind of torn what I want to do with that one right now. But then as far as the back right corner in that picture, the tree off to the right of the house, that one correct. That one does have it is structurally compromised. Um, it had a branch that fell down, like I said, and ripped off the service. I spoke to the electrical service to my house. I spoke with my neighbors. They were okay with me bringing it up to having it taken down. So that would be one that I would definitely want to add to my initial count. And then moving to the backyard, there are two. Let's see. The first one, the closest one to the house, that's about 22 feet, is structurally compromised. I'm not sure if we have a picture. You could see it. It's right behind the garage to the left a
Oh,
little bit.
right, okay. Let me go around. Just give me a holler. Say stop.
That one right there.
There. Okay.
That one is structurally compromised, and it seems to have some branches that could, the dead branches up high that could be, oh yeah, you can kind of see the bark's missing on a good chunk of it right there. And again, that one's only like 22 and a half feet from my garage to the center of the tree. And then if you go back, I think two pictures to the left, I'm not sure which way you were scrolling.
Second.
Yes, those two, with the split down the middle. Um, he did recommend getting those taken down because again, they are too close to the structure. More so the closer one, but that farther one that the pointer is on right now, that one would absolutely destroy a deck. It would hit the house if it came down. And then he also said that he didn't see an issue with taking down the trees in the back. There were like 3 or 4 sections of a clump of trees. And those ones were also discussed being taken down on my original scoping.
And
Um,
also,
I'm sorry.
I also put your drainage plan into the set as well. So if you want to just go over that with the commission as well.
Sure. I was just going to ask if there are any further questions regarding the trees. Okay, if no questions, I'll continue on. I do plan on planting new vegetation throughout the backyard to help absorb some of that groundwater, new landscaping of some sort. I'm not certain exactly what yet, but some sort of tree that will, because the tree's obviously going to absorb more groundwater than a bush or something, maybe 2 to 3 inch caliber size, similar tree. And then as far as the drainage, so I was looking at doing curtain drain around the property or around sorry, not the property, the building. What I wanted to do was dump it and undermine it under the foundation and dump it into the sump pit that I already have that's installed currently. I would upgrade it with a new pump, dump that out into the backyard, pump it out with a backflow preventer out to free air back into the wetlands.
Where does it go now?
Right now, there's a inch and a quarter hose that just comes out and it lays on the grass and it goes out to the wetlands. So I'd basically be taking the same route that it currently takes.
Okay.
Flexible hose you can move to mow the lawn, but
Mhm.
wouldn't be surprised if we could see that hose in some of those tree pictures we had.
Mhm.
Oh, I can't see it.
Right
Yeah, there
there.
it is. Yep. So it's just like a 50-foot hose, goes right into free air, and it gets just about to the tree line, probably a little short of the tree line. So it would start, 6 to 8 inches below grade and maintain pitch to level where it comes out. And it may not even be that far because I think a portion of where that line is drawn right now is part of my wetlands. And then, is there any questions about the drainage?
Yep. Mr. Dice, so the drainage pipe, are you proposing to bury it or are you going to keep it above grade?
I'm going to bury it and have it 6 inches below, and the topography kind of slopes down to the wetlands currently, so I would maintain my pitch until I got to free air at the wetlands.
And how are you going to install it below grade? What equipment are you going to use?
I'm going to have a machine there to dig a trench and lay I'm not sure on the size of the pipe, probably a 2 or 3 inch pipe, and drain it out, bury it in
So just
stone
a
cover.
trenching machine like a ditch witch or something like that?
I'm gonna have an excavator on site to dig the curtain drains around at the footing of the foundation. So at that time, I'll have them just pop a trench out, the shallow trench out to the wetlands.
Thank
But
you.
if you have concern with having a machine that close to the wetlands, I could, work on getting a ditch witch or a couple guys with hands and just dig it by hand.
Thank you.
No
So, Mr.
problem.
Tyson, is that the end of your presentation or do you have more information?
The only other thing we talked about as well was the porch. What I wanted to do on the front and the side of the property, dig up that soil and I would pour a concrete foundation with footings and do it all right down to below frost line, and I would displace that soil that I dig up into the backyard to help up towards my structure to help keep the topography higher at my actual structure. I would just offset that same. I wouldn't bring any new process or any new topsoil, anything. Just move it from the front of the yard, whatever the excess, to the back of the yard, at the rear of the house. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you. So I'll go around and ask the commissioners if there's any questions or comments, starting with Commissioner Fox.
No questions.
Thank you. Commissioner Carveth.
No questions.
Thank you. Commissioner Simons.
I do not have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. And Commissioner Simpson.
The only question, maybe for the commission to talk about, do we want the buried pipe to go into the defined wetlands? Or do we want it to end just outside so it would seep in naturally, by itself? I don't know how we deal with that normally, or, I mean, we do let people do some work, but if we can prevent it, maybe that's something we do, or does that defeat the purpose? I'll leave it up to everyone else. And I have no questions besides that.
Thanks, Mark. And Bruce, if you want to address that, what's the staff recommendation on where to terminate the pipe?
I would recommend that they stay in the lawn area and that they don't go into the woods itself. It'll minimize disturbance in the woods, so they could end it right at the edge of the forest line, however they want to. But we could coordinate that during the construction.
And at that point, it will be at or above grade. Well, it won't be kind of be above, I guess, but it'll have a backflow preventer to not get back to the structure. But at that point, it will be higher, at or above or below above grade.
Great, thank you. And Bruce, I'm going to ask you one more question. Is there a staff recommendation on the best way to install the drainage pipe? An excavator may be a little bit of overkill given the size of the pipes, but what's your recommendation, Bruce?
I mean, it is a long run to hand dig it to get it down, could be a little difficult, but also I think if he's with all that disturbance with the tree work, as long as it's with a small enough piece of equipment, I don't have a problem with it.
Okay. And I would agree it's a long run for hand digging, but any mechanical trenching, a ditch witch or something. But at a minimum, I would say it would be a narrow width bucket.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Chair,
so
Chair, I do have one point of order, if you don't mind.
sure, please.
Something is that we did officially forget to see Chairman Garfith in for Chairman Station.
Thank you for that catch, Bruce. And yes, for the record, we will seat Commissioner Carveth for Commissioner Stachin. Not hearing any significant concerns from the commission for the purposes of discussing a motion, it might be appropriate to have a motion to approve the application for the work on, actually, before we do that, the total number of trees, Mr. Tice, what did you end up with for the tree count tally, including the front one, if you opt to remove that?
The front one would make it 13 and it's 12 with counting because again I counted the stump and the Y, so it would be 12 with 13 being the front.
Thank you for the clarification.
No problem.
So I think it would be appropriate to have a motion to approve the work for up to 13 trees, including the front tree, the drainage work around the foundation, and discharge pipe through the backyard, terminating before the tree line, and the proposed porch work.
So moved.
Is
Second,
there a
Mark.
second?
Second,
Thank you.
Mark.
All those in favor, and that motion would include soil and erosion control measures at the direction of the town staff? Is that an acceptable inclusion in the motion?
Yes.
And second for Mark.
Thank you. So we'll call the commission. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you very much, all. Appreciate you all.
Thank you.
So that will bring us on to the second item under new business, Michael Anderson, 8 Ashbury Hollow.
Hi, Mike Anderson at 8 Asbury Hollow. Here presenting our plan to put in a prefab soaking pool in our backyard with surrounding patio and the fireplace. We have the silt fence and wattles proposed on the downside of it for construction, and a little planting screening to screen the road and neighbors behind the fireplace area. And that outdoor shower, we are switching to do cold water only with just like a door for changing and towels. And that's about it. The pool equipment is located within the setback on a 4x6 concrete pad, also with screening as well. And I think that's about it.
Okay, thank you for the presentation. Bruce, anything else that we should be aware of?
I don't know if they ever addressed the pool filter and the method. Is it a saltwater generated, or how is this one? What kind of a system is this?
Oh, it's I mean, I don't have the specs pulled up, but it has a filter, but I think it's chlorine, and I think off the bat they said they add salt, but I think it's supposed to just, help the chlorine or minimize the chlorine that you put in it.
Yeah, it does. It's still ultimately chlorine at the end, but it just minimizes the amount of chlorine. Because that has to matter with when we clean up the pools and where the water discharges. Okay. I think that's it, Chair. That's all I had.
Thanks, Bruce. Thank you, Mr. Anderson, for the presentation. I'll go around and see if there's any questions or comments from the commission. Starting with Commissioner Fox.
No questions.
Thank you. Commissioner Carvath.
No questions.
Thank you. Commissioner Simons.
No questions.
Thank you. Commissioner Simpson.
I just trying to remember, there was something about the outdoor shower, and did we resolve that where it was about something about you can't disperse hot water out into the general area? Is that something that has been resolved? It was talked about, but I don't know if that's been finalized.
Yes,
I believe the applicant indicated it was going to be a cold water shower only. Is that correct, Mr. Anderson?
Correct.
Okay. All right, no questions.
Right, and then just as a point of information, Mr. Anderson, if you're having a pool company do your servicing, if they're going to do any um, drain down of the pool, not to discharge directly into the wetlands. You can work with town staff on appropriate, maintenance measures, but that's a common issue sometimes with pools that are in close proximity to the wetlands is the tendency for the maintenance companies to use the wetlands as a discharge point, which they shouldn't. So with the no significant concern being expressed by the commission for purposes of discussion, it would be appropriate to have a motion to approve the work, including within the 100-foot regulated area as described, and for erosion control measures to be installed per staff direction. Is there a motion along those lines?
So moved by Dave.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second by Andre.
Thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Mr. Ensign.
All right. Thank you very much.
That will bring us on to item 3 of new business, Farmington Motorsports, 146 Brickyard Road.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, staff. For the record, my name is Alan Bongiovanni. I'm a licensed land surveyor in the state of Connecticut. My office is at 170 Payne Road in Newington. Have with me tonight Tim Vibert, the owner of Farmington Motorsports. The application is for 146 Brickyard Road. It is their vehicle storage facility. It's been there for about 7 years now. Was approved through planning and zoning, I think in 2018. And we're looking to expand the outside storage area and make improvements to the site associated with that. If you recall, last month we were before you because there was a cease and desist order because some fill material was brought on site near the intermittent water course to the rear of the property. We came back and addressed the commission last month. And we said we'd be back here for the application, so here we are. A couple brief key points about the property. It's 4 acres in size. There's an existing building on the property that houses or stores the tow vehicles and the flatbeds that Farmington Motorsports has. There's no repair or maintenance on this property. It's a temporary storage facility for towed vehicles. I'm going to let Tim talk about that in a minute. But the property is, industrial, the CR zone. The wetlands on the property, there's a drainage ditch, intermittent water course to the west of the property that runs along the former railroad track, now rails to trails along that area. And then there's a wetland area to the south center portion of the site that crosses the property line onto the neighbors. A little history, when this went back before the commission, to the planning commission back in 2018, there were no wetlands on the property. There was no identification. I say that in jest. There was no identification on the town wetlands map that there were wetlands, and no wetlands application was required. The wetlands that are on this property, I think arguably, we could argue that they were created by the town's drainage work, the Public Works Department. Initially, there was a drainage pipe that traversed from the north to the south that drained the stormwater from Brickyard Road. At one point, they decided to terminate that drainage system and create the drainage swale, the intermittent water course that's along the west of the property to convey that stormwater. That created the intermittent water course. And when they did that to the south side of the property, where we have the small wetland area, there was a catch basin, and that catch basin drained that area. That catch basin was sealed off and discontinued, so there was nowhere for that water to go. So it created a depression that over the number of years that it's been discontinued has come into a wetland. As I said, we're looking to expand the existing use on the property. Currently, there's 43% of the site that has impervious area, basically building and the gravel parking area. And we're looking to bring that up to 47%, which is about the maximum that we can do, take into account the issues that we have to do for planning and zoning, their buffer requirements, and then our stormwater system, which Joe Perugini from Weston and Sampson will address a little later on. It's not a change of use. Nothing different is going to change here. But the design of the site, the expansion here, we've been working on for almost a year with the town staff. Because there's vehicles stored on here, they're generally dry vehicles, but there is a potential for the possibility of maybe some fugitive oil dripping, things like that from the vehicles. And this is a Class A watershed. So staff asked us to look at ways that we could better capture any waste or contamination and waste from those vehicles if it was to happen. And really the only way to do that would be to pave the site and then put in some structured water quality and storm drainage measures to do that. And that's what we have, and we're going to talk about that in a little more detail. With that overview, I'm going to just introduce Tim. He can tell you a little bit about the operation of the business.
Good evening. Tim Vibbert, 90 Main Street, Unionville, lifelong resident of Farmington. Farmington Motorsports is on its 49th year of operation. We've been at this site for approximately 15 years. We bought the property adjacent to us, a 4-acre parcel, probably about 10 years ago, I'm going to guess. And we've stored some of our vehicles on it. Our business on one side is a repair business. We also have we're what I would consider the premier tower of the Farmington Valley. I say that because the police departments are asking us to take care of their problems. Okay, so one of the parts of the business that we do and that we store vehicles on this are mostly unregistered, uninsured motorists and impounded vehicles that are such as maybe a trailer for a tractor or something to that effect that we once in a while get for whether we have one now for being stolen and they're awaiting disposition. So some of these cars are potentially staying longer than really that we've ever had. The state has a process of giving us paperwork to get rid of these cars, but they're taking much longer. So the cars are sitting there longer, taking up room. So we try and once a month, generally we're taking out about 17 cars that have been abandoned in that period. So again, we have our business has grown, and we have employee cars that are parked there and things of this nature. We do not park any leaking cars on that plot of land, as we've been told by the zoning board back in the day. It had to be a dry car, and that's what we do. It's really just because our business has probably tripled in the last since COVID that we're here today to try and use some more of our land so that we can park a few more cars there to get to be able to park our own trucks and things like that on there. So that's why we've come to you today to ask permission to push back a little bit further on the property.
Thank you, Tim. With that, I'd like to introduce Anthony Zemba. He's our soil scientist with Land Tech. Anthony's, again, been involved in this from the initial inland wetlands identification, which we've submitted to the commission inland wetlands report. He's done a functions analysis of those wetlands. He's also investigated at the request of town staff the small wetlands to determine whether there was a vernal pool in that area. And then he's provided, based on our design here, an impact statement. So with that, Anthony?
Yes, good evening. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good evening. I'm Anthony Zemba, senior soil scientist and senior ecologist with Land Tech, offices at 518 Riverside Avenue, Westport, Connecticut. As Alan mentioned, I was the one that conducted the wetland delineation in April of 2024. Delineated two resources out there, which I call Wetland A and Wetland B. Wetland A being an intermittent watercourse at the northwest corner in the western border, near the western border of the site. It flows to the south and off site. Wetland B is the small depressional wetland at the south center of the site that Alan described. As part of the my duties there, not only did I delineate the wetlands, but identify the Cowardin classification. Wetland A is an intermittent watercourse. It has a defined channel, had flow longer than a storm event, has recent alluvium, and it has hydrophytic vegetation. Wetland B is probably was a plustron forested wetland before trees were cut on the site. It exists now as a plustron emergent wetland. Some of the vegetation has started to come back. The hydrology that sustains wetland A is through groundwater discharge from higher elevations to the north of the site. That's apparent right in that area where the cursor is. Wetland B hydrology appears to be direct precipitation and overland flow from surrounding impervious surfaces on the developed portions of the adjacent property. It is seasonally flooded. You can see rack lines that extend onto the neighbor's property to the south during those periods of high precipitation events in the spring. There's a catch basin on the western end of that wetland system that provides, apparently it provides an outlet to wetland A. However, I've been told that that's not functioning. As part of the evaluation, we also conducted a wetland functions and values assessment of these wetlands. Wetland A serves as a groundwater discharge, as I mentioned. That's the main hydrology supporting that resource. And so with that, some storm flows. Wetland B, the main function is to collect sediment from the surrounding areas based on my observation. With that said, there is a deeper portion of wetland B that when I was out there, I had mentioned to my client, Von Giovanni Associates, that perhaps that could serve as a vernal pool. And to complete the wetland functions and values assessment, at least for the wildlife habitat portion, I suggested that we go back during vernal pool season and reevaluate that deeper portion, which we did in March of 2025. So this year, we went after a couple days of warm weather. My network of herpetologists around the state were contacting me through social media, reporting their sightings, wood frogs, spotted salamanders on the move, and other indicator species. We had about 2 days where temperatures went up above 60 degrees. So we figured that would be a good time to mobilize to the site. A lot of these creatures, it's a race to get there first. So it's kind of uneven distribution of activity. A lot of activity up front in the beginning of the season, and then it kind of tails off as you progress through the end of March and into April. So we were there when we thought would be a pretty good time at the very beginning, although we did not find any indicator species after an hour or so of observations and dip netting. So our conclusion was that it wasn't serving as a vernal pool. It isn't to say that from time to time a frog couldn't find its way in there, but we did not find masses of breeding individuals and egg masses that would indicate that it's important serving as a vernal pool. So based on all of our analysis and observations, and once we received the site plan showing that the proposed activity would not only avoid direct impact of those wetlands, there would be no filling within the limits of those delineated resources, but also, as Alan mentioned, it would intercept a lot of the stormwater that's currently entering the systems now and send it through a number of different water quality improvement and control structures. And so that a lot of the new stormwater generated from the proposed paving would go into a newly created water retention basin, allowing that stormwater to infiltrate back into the ground and therefore continue that groundwater discharge function to wetland A. And also, it would intercept a lot of the stormwater that's currently entering wetland B as overland flow. However, this time it would enter in a forebay, allowing for the capture of the heavier sediments and anything associated with that sediment within that forebay, which would then, once that forebay overflowed, would enter wetland B. So that hydrology is maintained as well. And then eventually, as wetland B fills up, instead of flooding the neighboring property to the south, it would eventually discharge through a swale to the west and then find its way back to wetland A and offsite. So in conclusion, not only do we avoid direct impact with this proposed development, I would venture to say that it's an improvement over existing conditions for the reasons that we explained with the water quality control structures and infiltration. And with that, I could take any additional questions. I believe the engineers could address specifically the design parameters of those water quality structures and detention basins. I talk about it more in a qualitative sense.
Thank you, Anthony. And with that, like to introduce Joe Perugini. He's a professional engineer with Weston and Sampson in Rocky Hill. And they looked at the erosion and sediment control, the stormwater design, as well as water quality of the structures and components of this system that we're proposing to implement. Joe?
Thank you, Alan. Again, for the record, my name is Joe Perugini. I'm a professional engineer with Weston and Sampson, located in Rocky Hill. We had looked at this site. From the beginning, we knew that there were some constraints. It's a fairly flat site. We have some fixed elevations with the existing building and the various corners of the proposed parking lot. Designing this, we knew we had to incorporate some infiltrative measures. We dug some test pits in the area of the proposed basin to see where the seasonal high groundwater elevation would be. That gave us a basis which to establish the basin bottom. We needed to have some vertical separation to infiltrate. And so when you have that starting basin elevation and the flat nature of the site, it forced us to incorporate some different measures with we have a couple of double catch basins at the low point within the parking lot. Again, with the lack of cover, we had to have a series of 4 ductile iron pipes all in series. The double catch basins will capture the coarse sediment that enters. They each have 3-foot deep sumps. Any fine sediment will then get captured into a large diameter water quality structure. So this is a manhole. It's a 10-foot diameter for a few reasons. It creates a lot of storage area for finer sediment. Within that water quality structure, we have an engineered baffle that crosses, and it's engineered and it's approved or on the list of approved water quality measures that is acceptable to the DOT of Connecticut. It's on their approved list. It's referred to as a SAFL baffle. It helps hydrodynamically drive fine sediment downward into that sump, so it's captured. This provides the 80% total suspended solids removal. In addition to the baffle, on the outlet pipe, there's an 18-inch HDP or high density polyethylene pipe. Over the outlet within that water quality structure, we have proposed a debris hood. It's also known as a snout. That also is an engineered beyond normal debris hoods because of the way it's designed to prevent drawing down of stormwater. So it prevents the movement of any oils or floatables that enter that water quality structure. That also is fitted with an absorbent material. They have a proprietary material called a bioskirt. So it hangs along the edge of the debris hood down into the water that is within the sump of the structure. So any floating oils or anything like that will be absorbed by that material. There's 2 of those skirts because of the size of the hood. And so you're getting both the oil absorbency and the fine sediment isolation. When the discharge from that structure is designed to go to a plunge pool or scour hole, that's to prevent erosion in the basin. The basin is as large as it is because it's both infiltrating runoff and mitigating the 2 through 100-year design storms. Based on the field infiltration tests we did, our calculations indicate that it will infiltrate the entire 2 through 10-year storm. And then above that, runoff can overtop an engineered berm at I guess, the southeast corner of the basin. That's a stone lined weir. That allows runoff to overtop into the wetlands, but at a controlled rate. So even at the higher storms, the 25, 50, 100-year storm, we are significantly reducing the runoff that leaves the site and into the wetlands. So there will be some relief to that area of wetlands. It's not preventing runoff from getting to it, but it's definitely reducing the volume and the rate of runoff. And like Anthony mentioned earlier, there is going to be a natural swale that you see on the left side there that the wetlands can, once they fill up, there is some relief through that natural swale. That's going to replace the catch basin that hasn't been functioning in that area and was flooding. And also, like Anthony mentioned, on the east side of that wetland B, we're trying to treat the runoff coming down the driveway as well. It's going through a sediment forebay. There's a stone opening, a stone lined riprap opening, and then that water gets filtered through a pervious stone berm within the forebay. And so this entirety of wetland B is kind of protected. There's curbing all around the north side of that wetland B. So the runoff is being forced through all these treatment measures before it gets to the wetlands. And then lastly, we have erosion control measures on the next sheet. They are pretty standard for this type of work. It's a combination of perimeter silt fencing or perhaps straw wattles, or it can be any of those. These are going around the perimeter, all the low end of the site, so any disturbances are protected or controlled. We like to have this particularly around the infiltration basin. We don't want to see any sediment running into that basin, clogging the subsoils. So we have that protected. There'll be silt sacks at the inlets of the catch basins. And then we'll also have an anti-tracking pad to prevent sediment leaving the site. We did meet early on with staff and Bruce to discuss the approach. And since then, we proceeded with the design. We addressed, I believe, a round of staff comments, and then we're here before you today with the final product. So I am happy to answer any questions that you may have as well.
I think that kind of concludes our presentation. I think we covered things in enough detail to explain to the commission what we're proposing and how we propose to handle it. It's not that complicated of a project. Again, it's the expansion of an existing use, and taking into account a lot of the comments from the town and how to best handle or protect the aquifer underneath it, to address stormwater up to the 100-year. One of the things that I like in Joe's report and his drainage design is we did permeability tests on the soil in the infiltration where the infiltration is proposed, and we had rates of 22 inches per hour. His conservative report and design is based on 2.4 inches per hour, and that's what the state allows. We know the storm drainage is going to function a lot better than the report shows. But even with the conservative numbers, as I said, Joe had said, we're holding all the stormwater back through the 10-year storm and significantly reducing the flow post-development throughout the 100-year storm. So if you have any questions, we'll be happy to answer.
Great. Thanks to the whole presentation team. And, I recognize that we're just accepting the application tonight. I think it's fair to get some initial input from the commission. Bruce, I saw your review notes that the application came in with limited time for you to do reviews. So I think we have to make sure you have adequate time to do the review. I do have a couple of questions. I think one of the things, Bruce, that I'd like to have your input in is how much time you think you would need to sort of coalesce your initial comments, because I do think, and this will be subject to discussion by the rest of the commission, I think it's a good site for a site walk before we determine significance. But I also think it's fair to sort of look down the road if we determine it's significant and have to schedule a hearing, when that might fall in the calendar, because we start to get into, the holidays in one meeting in December. So Bruce, I'll be looking for some more feedback from you momentarily. Alan, I do want to just circle back on one of the things that you said, and it may need input from the property owner, Mr. Vibert. And this is not a signal of opposition, but I just want to make sure that we fairly assess the potential impacts from the operation. I think, Alan, you sort of downplayed the potential for leaks from vehicles. It would seem to me if the nature of the business is dealing with repairs and wrecks, those vehicles leak a lot and they leak often. So I want clarification as to why I characterize it as sort of a minimal opportunity for leakage.
So, and Tim can jump in here as well. This site is only for the storage of vehicles that are temporarily there. They're not there for repair. They're not wrecks on this site. This is only vehicles that, they were, somebody was pulled over and they didn't have a driver's license. It was an unregistered motor vehicle. It was a theft. It was something like that. This is not where wrecked vehicles are stored. Again, he's got tractor trailers here. One was stolen, or a couple of them were stolen, things like that. There could be a damaged trailer on the site. But anything with, the antifreeze and the oils and the fuel and everything else, if it's a wreck, it's not stored on this property. That was a condition of the original approval. And that's probably why they were allowed to go through the gravel base and it's reclaimed pavement base is what they have for the parking lot now. But that's the differentiation. This is not a junkyard. This is not a storage yard for wrecked vehicles and things like that.
Great, thanks, Alan. Thanks for the clarification. So when you refer to police issues, it's legally operating versus the wreck issues that the police departments deal with.
We don't park anything that leaks fluids on that property. Okay, there may be, there's a combination of abandoned motor vehicles from the police spots. There may be a car that's been damaged but not leaking. But that is our, what we've cut that parking lot off to be as a dry storage parking lot.
Great, thank you, Tim and Alan. Those are important clarifications. I have a question for Anthony. You covered your summary and findings. Do we have a report from you as part of the application file, or is that to be forwarded?
It should be in the report. It should be
Okay,
filed.
and I apologize because I also sort of picked up the some of the file information late myself. So good, as long as we have that, that will be important for our review as we move forward. With that said, Bruce, I'm maybe going to kick it over to you. Timing wise, where do you think you are with your initial review? And I'm thinking if we do collectively decide that we need to do a site walk, how much time do you need to do your reviews so we can plan that if we decide it's warranted?
Well, the next meeting is November 5th for the commission, so I have no problem getting an actual official set of comments in before then. Okay, so we talked about I threw down some dates on there, possibly November 1st and or 2nd for the site walk. So if the commission wants to do that, we can do that. There's also, not that you guys, I don't want this to think that you guys are this needs to push you, but there is a TPZ meeting scheduled for November 12th on this. So then he is going to TPZ at the same time. So if there is a problem and it does have to go to a public hearing, then they'll have to give us the extension for the TPZ application, as they cannot vote until this board has actually decided, voted on the matter. So, all right.
Thanks, Bruce. But your review notes also suggested October 25th and 26th as potential site walk dates. Is that feasible for you to do your work before that? Because I'd also like to take advantage of the nice weather before things,
All right. So
start getting.
say it again. What dates did you say? Because I said I put in the agenda review. I put November 1st and 2nd. I think is what I.
Because I thought on under item 12 on
Oh,
page
sorry. No,
4-7.
I apologize. No, I came in. It was my own notes. Yes, 25th, 26th, or the 1st and the 2nd.
Yep.
So I could. Do you want the comments done before the site walk? Is that what you're asking for?
I want to make sure you have enough time to do your comments so that we don't get ahead of you.
No, yeah, I've got plenty of time. Like I said, if with the next meeting being in November 5th, I will definitely have comments to the commission prior.
Okay. Thanks, Bruce. So I'll go around, I'll poll the commission. I think this would be a good one to do a site walk. If the rest of the commission agrees, and Bruce will leave it to you for your normal scheduling wizardry that you always pull off. So I'll go around and poll the commission. Dave Fox, any questions or comments?
I agree on the sidewalk, certainly warranted in this case. I was wondering about the erosion control measures that were put out along around the fill that was placed. There was a note, I think, that there was some initial problem with that. I was wondering what the status was of the silt fence and wattle.
Bruce, are you going to address that?
Yeah, I got that right here, just pulling it up.
Okay,
So
perfect.
these are the pictures I went back out the day I sent out the agenda review. I was out there in the morning. So this is the intermittent swale from the town outlet pipe that runs around. So all that fill and the erosion control is right in here. This is the swale, the intermittent swale from the town pipe as well. You could see some of some of this has been buried up against it. Some of this is laying down, but he did fortify it with the wood chip mulch, which does definitely help. But there's areas such as this that are still not buried and that are open. And I think as you come around, there are some areas just laying down a little bit. And this is all along the back far west side, so you have some pieces down. It needs a little bit of a TLC. Someone go through there an hour or two, just kind of hand dig and just fix things up, and it should be fine.
Okay, hopefully that happens soon.
That should happen, Mr. Chairman, if I may, that should happen over the next couple days.
Thank you. I guess that's all I have right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Carveth, any questions or comments?
I agree that we do need to do a site walk for this application. I also have a question. I believe in the last meeting you had mentioned that you would do replanting of where it was cleared and where the fill is right now. But I didn't see any mention of that in your presentation. Are you still planning on doing that?
We are, and I kind of, I didn't intend to not inform you of that or tell you more detail, but I look at that more as a planning and zoning issue and their buffer requirements. But we do have part of the set and part of the application to you is the planting plan, the landscaping plan, which shows our proposed buffer planting.
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions.
Thank you. Commissioner Simons, any questions or comments?
I definitely think a sidewalk is needed, and I don't know if the potential vernal pools that were mentioned are going to be outlined if we do the sidewalk, but I would definitely like to see those areas just so that we can kind of get our own eyes on it.
Thank you. Commissioner Simpson, any questions or comments?
No questions, but I would say about the sidewalk, yes, we need one. And just for Bruce's count. I would not be available in October, but I would be able to attend the November 1st and 2nd sidewalk if you schedule on those dates. That's all.
Thank you. Okay, so at this point, we should have a motion to accept the application. Is there a motion?
So move. All right, second, Mark.
So I think, was that Andre that made the motion?
Yes.
Okay, so we have Andre and Mark for the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. So Bruce, because unless Alan and Tim, you've got a fairly large project team. Do you have limitations on potential site walk dates if we used? I know, Mark, you said you had a conflict with October 25th and 26th. Alan, if you know sort of the project team.
I know personally that I have my son's parents' weekend at college, the 25th, 26th, so I wouldn't be available then, but November 1st or 2nd is fine. I don't know about Joe or Anthony.
Well, I teach a class on Saturday mornings. So November 1st, I wouldn't be able to be up there until after probably 12:30.
I'm available both those dates.
And I have church on Sunday until about 11. So again, after 12:30 on Sunday and after 12:30 on Saturday for the first and the second.
Quite honestly, Anthony, I don't know if we're going to be able to accommodate all of your restrictions. The commission is going to prevail, and we have busy schedules too.
Right. Oh, I
so-
could skip church, but I'm committed to teaching, so I can't skip.
No, I know, but you can't sit here before a commission and tell us that you're not available. Or we'll work around it. So Bruce, with that feedback, maybe you can work on scheduling, and we'll do the best we can to accommodate everyone, but we're gonna have to try and get this. Again, I'd like to catch the site walk while the weather is good and keep on track for the Planning and Zoning Commission schedule as well. So Bruce, if I
Understood.
can leave it to you to do the normal scheduling you do after the meeting.
Okay. So
And,
it sounds like the first
so-
or the second is the way we're going to be going. So I'll send something out to everybody. All right.
And then Bruce, administratively, we will process the application and leave the cease and desist order in place. We don't do anything with the cease and desist until after the application is fully processed, correct?
Yes, yeah, we can get as we get to the end, once the commission kind of approves this application, we'll close out the cease and desist, and then we could based on the approved plan, and then they could vote on the application.
Okay, great. So we will roll this forward on our calendar for the next regular meeting, and you'll work on scheduling the sidewalk.
Yep. All right.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
And then Bruce, the agenda item with the scout is only on the Conservation Commission
Yes,
agenda, is
sir.
that correct?
Yes. Yep.
Do we have the ability to sort of suspend our remaining agenda and maybe open the Conservation Commission meeting and we can take care of that and then go back to?
I don't know if we can do that. I've never done
Okay.
that before. I'll be honest with you. I think these things should go fairly quickly. I think we can get through these fairly quickly here. The cease and desist for 148 Brickyard, as we discussed, that's on hold. 114 West Avon, I have been in touch with the homeowner, and she has been working to try to get some wetland scientists to get back to her. So she has one that said no, another one's gonna get back to her with a price. So she is actively working with trying to have somebody on that. All right. The
Thank
other
you,
one
Bruce.
was the meeting schedule, and the last comment we had on that was to change the July dates because it was too close to the 4th. So we kicked those out to the week after. So that's the 8th and the 22nd. Everything else stayed the same. So if no one, if anyone doesn't have a problem, then we can I can have a motion to vote on that. That'd be great.
Okay, is there any question or concerns by the commission? I'm not going to go around to everyone. You can just speak if there's an issue or concern. All right, hearing none, is there a motion to approve the 2026 schedule of meetings?
So move, Mark.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Abel second.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, motion carries. We have a schedule for 2026.
Awesome. And the last item is the election of officers.
Yeah, and if I had your notes correctly, we do not have to act on this. We could table it until the next meeting. Is that correct?
We can, it does say the 30th, it does say by 30 days of the 1st of October. However, if one does not happen, then the existing members will carry over until the next election, so.
Yeah, and there's no
that's-
recourse. We don't get disbanded or anything like that.
No, no.
Okay.
I'm not gonna let that happen, so. So I mean, the big thing, like I said, there is, the council just appointed 2 new members to the commission yesterday, so they have not been sworn in yet. So the chair's not here, so we do have a very well, let's say a skeleton crew here. So I would probably recommend that we table this to the next meeting, if that's not a problem with everybody.
Yeah, I agree with that, Bruce, and I would like to have an open dialogue with the commission that where I've been in the last couple of elections is I do have a work conflict where I work in the planning office in West Hartford. I do have regular meetings on the 3rd Wednesday of the month, so there's a fair, regular occurrence where I have conflicts. So I am willing to do what is best for the commission. If the commission thinks that I should carry forth as vice chair, I would not oppose that. If the group thinks that the commission is best served by having a new vice chair, I would take no concern or offense to that, and I will leave that with the rest of the commission. So for those of you that may be newer, that's sort of where I fall on things. So Bruce, do we need a motion to table it, or do we just table it?
Yeah, I'm just, yeah, you could, I'll just make a note that they agreed to table it, all right?
Perfect, thank you. So now we'll move on to your planner's report.
None, I don't have any at this time.
Okay, and then with the minutes for October 1st, 2025, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved by Dave.
Is there a second? Thank you, Andre. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. We will adjourn the meeting at 8:03 p.m. First, are we good to shift over to the Conservation Commission?
We are, I'm just opening up.
Okay,
that.
we will open the Conservation Commission meeting at 8:03. Can you call the roll?
I usually don't call the
Nope.
roll for that one, it just carries over.
Thank you. We will keep moving forward then. Item 1 under new business is Lucas Glove, 80 Tungus Mead Road.
Give me 1 second, let me load this in.
Sure. Lucas and team, we appreciate your patience in hearing us out through the prior meeting.
Everyone hear me okay?
Lucas, you there?
Oh, yeah. So my name's Lucas. I'm from Troop 170 from Unionville, and I'm planning on making the Eagle project in Tungus. So I will just read my project description and its benefits, and then if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask, and then I can get my approval, and then I can actually start working on making the project. So for my Eagle Scout project, I'm leading an effort to install bat boxes and field signs at the Tungus Sports Complex area, and the goal is to improve
both environmental quality and the overall experience for the community members who use the facility. The bat boxes will provide safe, sustainable habitats for bat species, and encouraging bats to roost in the area will help naturally control the mosquito population, reducing the need for chemical pesticides and supporting local biodiversity. And this is a simple but effective way to promote ecological balance and create a healthy environment for both wildlife and the people. To prepare, I conducted research on bat behavior, habitat needs, and the best practices for construction and installation. And I reviewed different bat box designs to make sure that they would be durable, weather resistant, and suited to local species. Placement will follow expert guidelines for height and orientation to increase the chance that bats will use them. And the town of Farmington has already purchased, I'm pretty sure 13 pre-built kits from bigbatboxes.com, which will be used, and there will be a picture on the slideshow. Then the second part of my, yeah, one more page down. Yeah, right there. The second part of my slideshow project is field signs, and that's to help players, coaches, families, and visitors navigate the sports complex easily. During games or tournaments, especially at large events and away people that aren't from Farmington and aren't regularly at Tunxus, there's a lot of congestion and it's kind of confusing to find the right field. So these new signs will be clearly labeled and placed in locations that make it easier to get around, which will be at the intersection right before the skate park. And the design of the signs will match the existing signage. And I've been giving a contractor that the town has used before, so I will make a deal with them to make 2 signs. And they'll be similar to the no parking signs that are already there. The sign will be made out of metal, the same specifications as existing signs, and will be mounted below the no parking signs using the same poles. And we are planning on 2 signs, which will be placed near 9 and 10, or the intersection before the skate park. And then safety and visibility will also be key factors in how the signs are built and installed. And overall, this project will benefit the community by making the Tunxus complex more user-friendly and environmentally sustainable. It also shows leadership, problem solving, and a commitment to serving others, all values that scouting has taught me and that I hope to carry forward in my life.
Thank you, Lucas. Is that the end of your presentation?
Yeah, that is.
Okay.
And then on the picture there, it's just where I would put the bat boxes approximately.
So Lucas, are the bat boxes, are they pre-assembled or do you have to do the assembly prior to putting them up?
They're pre-assembled. What the
Okay.
picture is down there is how they look like.
And is there any maintenance that is required of the bat boxes, or once they're up, they're up?
So once they're up, they're up. And I've already come across this issue, and I'm planning on making a deal with the Farmington Soccer Club that meets there, and then maybe once a year to check on it and make sure that they're still functionable. And if they don't work, or like, for example, the wood is rotting away, they can take it down and they could be replaced by a different Eagle project. And as long as I will be in Scouts, which will be until I'm 18, I can go check on it every year. But once I age out of Scouting, I'll hope that the Farmington Soccer Club can help with that.
Great, thanks. And my final question is, just how many mosquitoes does a bat consume in a typical night?
So approximately 1,000, up
So a
to
lot,
1,000
right?
bugs.
All right. Thank you, Lucas. I'll go around and ask if there's any other questions from the other commission members. Commissioner Fox.
Very nice project. Good luck with it.
Okay. Commissioner Carbath.
I think it's a very great project. I'm very happy to see a project promoting bats in the environment. I have no further questions or comments.
Commissioner Simons.
Former scout, I definitely applaud this project. I think it's a great way to help the environment, and I do not have any questions. Good luck with your project, sir.
And Commissioner Simpson.
No questions, but a wonderful presentation. You nailed it very well. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And Bruce, our action point, this was just informational for us, or do we need to make a
No, I'd
recommendation?
like to do a vote on it, but there was one clarification. That the soccer club was the one that purchased all the bat boxes. It wasn't the town. So I think it was through their
Oh.
the volunteer organization.
You've already worked on that collaboration. Great job, Lucas. Right, so then I think it would be appropriate to have, and I too support the project and think it's a great thing for you to do and encourage you to keep up the good work. So it'd be appropriate to have a motion to support the project as proposed by Lucas Glow. Is there a motion?
So move,
So
Mark.
moved. Second.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, motion carries 5-0. Nice work and good luck.
Thank you very much.
And Bruce, I've lost my Conservation Commission agenda. There it is. Thank you.
Yep.
Is there a planner's report?
None at this time.
Okay, then is there a motion to approve the Conservation Commission minutes for October 1st, 2025?
So move.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Right, and with that, we will, that's all the business we have, right, Bruce?
That's it. Yep.
Okay, we will adjourn at 8:12 p.m.